Hi everybody, it's Derek Perniciglio for Super Clean. And whether you work around the shop, the garage, or the home, spills are going to happen. And now, Super Clean introduces their new Super Clean Floor Absorbent into their new product line to make cleaning up spills faster and easier. This all-natural product comes in an easy-to-pour 3-pound shaker jug. Just shake out the amount you need over your spill, give it a few minutes to absorb, and then clean up in an instant. Unlike traditional clay products, this product is virtually dust-free and absorbs 4 times faster. Now, we break out our Super Clean cleaner and degreaser for a 1-2 punch to clean up the stain completely. You can pick up your own 3-pound shaker jug of all-natural Super Clean at AutoZone, and you can also check us out at superclean.com. Super Clean, super easy, super fast, super clean.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the 5th round of the 2022 iRacing Short Course National Series, live from the short configuration for the Wild West Motorsports Park on iRacing from Sparks, Nevada. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside of the booth tonight is Dave Arnold, the voice of Off-Road. Our producer for this evening is Ryan Bauer. He's using cameras provided by the great Lucky Beard. We're happy to have you along with us whether you're watching live on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube as we get ready for what's expected to be a rough-em, tough-em round. This is a track infamous on the iRacing service for being very tricky to try and navigate and stay clean at. Several times in major events, drivers have managed to flip over into the tight turns, and in turn, that should bring a lot of pressure for some who be hoping to have a championship run approaching the midway point of the season, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of our faster tracks, too. You'll see close to 100 miles an hour coming down that front straightaway. But it's the turnstiles, two ends. Up the front, down the front straightaway, turn number 1. Always a lot of contact there coming around 90 degrees with a big leap. And I'll tell you, it always makes it exciting here for sure. And there's a lot of altitude change. And I think that is going to give the drivers some problems. Setups are key.
These drivers have been preparations and been busy in set preparations for a good while, to say the very least. But let's take a look at our Google Earth, shall we? Get ready to race here at Wild West Motorsports Park. As mentioned, state of Nevada. This is a 1.5 mile, 2.4 kilometer circuit with just the 4 corners. But you mentioned that the elevation changes, for one, are very drastic here. In as well, turn 2, known for being a heavy passing opportunity. Turn 1, expected to be big-time sends, possibly, Dave, in the early going.
Yeah, definitely. When those drivers come in the high speed, it a lot of the times depends on who's going to brake last, who gets on those binders a little bit quicker. Some of these guys overshoot the corner. Sometimes they pile up into the K-rail. So keep an eye on turn number 1. That's going to be the real exciting turn.
In turn, these drivers preparing for this midway portion of the campaign. This will be one of 2 dates, keep in mind, on the schedule for drivers here at Wild West, where this facility did shut down during 2021 calendar year after 9 years of operation. But as we see with the schedule, this isn't a mixture of a sea of 3 big tracks, 3 smaller tracks to close off the campaign. Dave.
Yes, sorry, we blanked out for a second on that. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that they closed this track down, because in real life it's one of the more exciting. But the beautiful thing, it lives for infamy in iRacing, and they can bring all the thrills to all these racers with all the elevation changes, the high speeds, and the tight 90-degree turns as they come around. Turn 1, turn 2, always awesome. I love the spin up the hill, and it's a long crawl with a high-speed left-hander into that straightaway.
Take the opportunity to look at the race analysis for tonight. Up to 4 heats available for competitors with 6 laps apiece. And as per usual, the top 3 advance to the final. Or up to 3 LCQs available as well based on car count, 4 laps apiece. Main event scheduled to take place for 22 laps for tonight's action. There is a competition caution scheduled at the end of lap 10. That restart zone that we see the drivers take during those manual caution periods is set for the final few hundred meters. First portion of the downhill run from turn 4 exit. So keep that in mind for drivers here tonight. And discuss that for these drivers, racers can't handle slick here. This is a track where they will also do 1 full pace lap to make sure it's worked in, Dave, because of that slickness as we see the qualifying take underway with some of these slick track.
Yeah, most definitely they got to burn the track in, and it's getting it dried out a little bit, getting those lines, pushing that slime out of the way, as we like to say. Once it comes in, you're going to see the track get a little bit faster as it starts to dry out a little bit. Then you get into the end of the race usually, gets a little blue groove, gets a little dry slick out there. So you're kind of, double-edged sword on both ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely excited to see how these drivers fare out tonight, especially since Zachary Drapkin amongst those picking up the pace is 5th in the points entering today, but the man who's first in the standings, Connor Berry, 219 points entering today. Sizable advantage over the 188 points picked up by one Felix Roy. And you see a different angle as well for Connor Berry, picking up the tripod and giving us a view of how he is looking at the racetrack.
I can see he's all set up there with his positive beverage, but I think he lost his number 1 fan over his head.
It's probably still there, it's just out of shot. After all, circulation's big, and especially with the fan around, that helps show its support. You see him pick up a 50.3 up on the board. That puts him 2nd in qualifying to Zachary Drapkin. 4 laps are available, remember, for our competitors tonight. Majority of the drivers are in the midst of the qualifying session. 46 entrants for today's round for reference, Dave. And amongst some of the drivers returning to competition once more, keep an eye once again on Sheldon Creed, very quick in practice. One of the 6 different competitors who led the session. As we take a look at Grady.
A little choppy on Grady there, but you talked about Sheldon Creed coming back. So awesome to see. We saw him run the short course in Crandon. And I'll tell you, he has some experience in Reno in real life. That could bring a little bit of an advantage. He's always quick out there. But Connor Berry, somebody's going to have to find an answer for him in the points. Right now, Felix Roy right behind him, not too far in 2nd. It's going to be tight, but Sheldon Creed could be the spoiler again. You never know.
50.8, the best lap for him in qualifying so far. He ended the session inside the top 5 on the board. 49.396. That led for a good 2 minutes. That's how fast and furious the times went. The more worked in the track got throughout the session. See where he picks up with 2:20 to go. Forward right now, Drapkin the leader. Berry, Swain, Roy, Sancholet rounding out the top 5, separated by 3/10. Where does Sheldon Creed finish up lap 4? A 50.857. Not able to pick it up, Dave. 1 second off the practice pace. 1.5 actually.
Well, I'll tell you, somebody that's really good at this one usually is Keaton Swain. He's had a lot of success. I think this is where he got his first win at, and he could be the guy to keep an eye on it. A little deeper in the points. I know he's had some problems this season, but man, I'm going to go with Keaton having a little bit of advantage when it comes to race time. He didn't always send the best qualifying time, but he is fast and furious when it comes to this track.
Actually provided a baseline setup for those who needed to be able to learn what they needed in their respective trucks for tonight. Very balanced, would say that, when it comes to look and complexion of that machine as we follow along with the 23 final drivers on the racetrack. And this is a timed lap, 3rd complete. Last time of the stripe, he and Connor Berry are the only drivers left outside of Rory Fulson, who can end up trying to best their times. Looking pretty solid so far for the 23, although taking the bumps very hard to turn 4.
Well, I can see them coming down out of turn 4, and you can see this is where they hit over 100 miles an hour. We're looking at that clock ticking down. 50.8, still a little bit behind, but pretty much right on par what he was the previous lap.
Quickest time total was a 50.5 in the session before that mark. Connor Berry bested his time with a 51.52. So he is now on the provisional pole. One driver has the chance to be able to bump them at the moment, and it's the 66 of 51.5 is the best time for him. 29th in session. Last time did not count, this time a 51.4. That will not reach that point. And keep in mind, for this evening, the biggest invert of the season is expected tonight. There is a lengthy drivers' meeting. These instructions for this evening for this round expect a lot of intriguing moments in turn. Would that invert be a factor later on, possibly tonight for the feature race? Yes.
That's something that drivers always dread. You know, they can go from a 0, they can go to a 2, a 4, a 6. And we've seen the whole field inverted before in the past. What is going to be the big surprise. I would like to be sitting around that drivers' meeting to hear some comments.
With that, the drivers have finished up qualifying. Let's take a look at how the first of the heat races will line up tonight. Heat 4 is to be skipped, so just the 3 tonight, but it's Connor Berry who leads the first one. Felix Roy in second in qualifying overall. Trenton Briley we should say, in third, with Tom Grady in fourth. Ethan Ebert, keep an eye on him. He also topped the session at one point. He'll still alongside the number 7 of James Burke. In 7th spot tonight goes to Lon Franks and Anthony Gaudio in 8th. Shane Paul, he's had some rough tough and upside down moments in 9th. Then it is 10th for Rory Folsom. Jake Hill starts in 11th with Brock Smith in the 12th position. Last row drivers in total led by Levi Metzinger, Dennis Crosby, Jeffrey Keeble, and Ramsey. 16 drivers on circuit. 3 heats in turn with attendance tonight. We get ready to go racing at 8 a.m. in sim time as we take a look at the Martin Sports weather conditions. Very cool track conditions. 71 degrees Fahrenheit is the track temp, 78 the air temp. Alt wind of 2 miles per hour, all on iRacing Day, May 15th, 2022. Cool conditions. Drivers in turn looking to see if they can heat things up for a push towards the second half of the season, Dave. Your opinions for what we may see for Heat 1 and who you feel could be the strong runners.
Well, I mean, the obvious, the 500-pound gorilla in the room, Connor Berry, our points leader right now, but sitting second in points right next to him on the outside, Felix Roy. I think this is going to get a little interesting between these two. It's all about qualifying right now, but these 2 points, I think there might be a little bit of a battle.
Especially with how tight things have fared out in the standings, as talked about. Again, for those just tuning in, Connor Berry, 219 points entering the evening. Felix Roy, second in the point standings, 188. That is approximately 20-30 points back. Swain, 6 points back of Roy, 182 in third. Braden, Mason Prater, 181 in fourth, 1 point back of Swain. So a lot of positions on hand to swap about as we get ready to go racing the iRacing pace truck. Out rolls. Keep in mind, the iRacing pace truck, known for darting off very quickly here off the starting blocks. See if the pace lap comes into play. No for the heat. Green flag is out. The pace truck speeds at 150 miles an hour. The trucks themselves speed to 90 into turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like Barry's going to lead down through that preferred line. Ooh.
Felix Roy turned in front of the field and saves it. One car stuck in the wall. The rest of the field drives off and away. Battle for second.
Well, it looks like Roy got a little punt there and came around and collected the rest of the field, but that allowed Barry to get that gap there, and you don't want somebody like Connor Berry to get out there and get that lead.
Felix Roy trying to hold off the Hornet's Nest. Still the top 3 advance from this respective heat. Directly to the feature. See how things fare out here as Roy tries to pull away from Briley. Briley holding off the Hornet's Nest for third.
And Briley's going to have a little room next to him there. He's going to be able to slide out. But look at Felix Roy there. He's got a good run. Looks like he's starting to get a little bit of a breathing room there as they go to turn number 1 again.
A lot of bumping and banging again into turn 1. One driver shuffled up into third. It's Tom Grady. Used the bumper, in fact, to be able to move up the 535. Tom Grady now tries to hold on to third, but this could swap or it can cause Trenton Briley to flip over and flip with Folsom into the wall.
I'll tell you, that turn number 2 is treacherous when they come around. It's 180 degrees. It's tight. Everybody's going to thread the needle. And this is a good example as we see them come down the hill. And turn 2, here we go. Oh, Briley just clips the K-rail. And it looks like a couple other drivers with him there. Couldn't see who else got cut up.
And they both ended up 4 wheels in the end of all that.
Incredible.
Keep in mind, Briley shuffled to 12th from all that. Folsom dropped back to 9th. I think he gained a spot, in fact, in that sequence. As we take a look now at Brock Smith, heart of the pack and a big bump. That is with Folsom in the battle now. What's for 8th position with the 66.
And you can see Brock Smith there with the Smith Graphics, one of our great sponsors here in the series. Making a good run up through the pack there, but still not a qualifying position for these drivers. You got to get up front.
Especially since Grady has pulled away by nearly 2 full seconds as a result of that flip we seen on the K-rail just moments ago. Folsom, meanwhile, up on the wheel and using one of what appears to be one of the OG wheels. That's similar to what you see many drivers start off on towards some of the Logitech products in their line. The G27 comes to mind, or the G29. Oh, trouble in front of them. One truck hit the wall. That was Metzinger who flipped and hit the wall on the K-rail.
Yeah, Metzinger just came in, clipped that inside wheel right on the K-rail. That is not forgiving whatsoever. That is an immovable object, and all you're going to do is just ping pong right off of it. Send a little bit deep. Oh, he had some help there.
And the red and white truck diving underneath, that was for position. I believe that may have been left. Yes, that is for Gaudio in the 440 for reference. Meanwhile, for James Burke, best run in the heat this season so far, up to 5th, coming to 2 to go.
Great shot at Burke there in the number 7. Gaudio in the 440 in hot pursuit.
Well, the Legion truck's definitely showing speed. It's worth noting that a lot of drivers have some flips and abouts. Keep in mind, for James Burke, actually has the message on the bottom of his truck. If you see this logo, flip me back over. For Connor Berry, all smiles as he gets ready to take the white flag. Folsom in trouble in the heart of the pack as well, just got flipped over.
Oh, they're looking a little bit too relaxed there. Look at that lead.
Reason you see Folsom in the pit lane there is because of this. Watch this jump. Some frustration. There was a battle in front before this. And a battle found him. And a second truck flipped too, as the white flag is out.
Roy with a good run down there. There's Barry. Nice little gaps between first to second and second to third.
Very calm. It's just a matter of can they keep the mistakes to a minimum here for the final few moments. Connor Berry, meanwhile, calm, very cool, very collected, and the only driver to not bump and bang with another truck in the span of 6 laps. For Connor Berry, a clean Heat 1, and for Connor Berry, another Heat victory. He brings the CBR machine to the checkered. He wins Heat 1. Only damage of the whole entire heat for him comes on the final jump after the checkered. Felix Roy, Tom Grady do hold on. Burke, the first one out. This respective heat with the drag race with Lon Franks at the straight, at the stripe in turn. Freaking first heat of the run, Dave. It's going to be interesting how the rest of the night plays out with that tone setter.
Yeah, I was going to say the tone's been set for sure. Hopefully we're not going to see a repeat in the second heat here going into turn number 1. I'll tell you, with Roy getting a little bit of moved around there, collect to the field, can whoever starts on the pole get the same help that Connor Berry did?
Taking a look at the race results again from Heat 1. Berry, Roy, Grady move on. Burke, Franks, Gaudio are out along with Briley. They have to go to the LCQs. With Smith, Metzinger, and Paul the top 10. As the field, Keeble charged up 15 to 11th. Crosby 12th. Hill, Ramsey, Eber. Folsom rounded up the Heat. Let's take a look at... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Ethan Hooper, not a driver I'm used to seeing in the back of the pack lately.
He was involved in that first lap incident, keep in mind, which put him behind the 8 ball. For Zachary Drapkin, he looks to stay in front of said 8 ball. He starts in the pole with Don Chalet in second. Tyson Miller starts in third. As the Terminator looks to hold off charging driver named Cody Retzlaff from 4. Sheldon Creed has lots of experience in these trucks. He'll be starting in 5th, with Brian Clement in 6th. Carr and Minder start 7 and 8. Jaden Krause joins the field from 9th spot tonight, driving the Monster Energy paint scheme with Aiden Irvin in 10th. Franklin Monac starts in 11th spot tonight with Hunter Carpenter alongside. And it's Trey Blank, Scott Posey, and Andrew Burchard rounding up 15 trucks in Heat 2. As these drivers get ready to roll, we like to take the time to remind you of the presenting sponsors for the series and thank them once again for the support provided throughout this campaign, including CBR Performance Products, AIM Sports Data, Super Clean, Dirt Sports World, Signature Propellers, Positive Beverage, and Smith Graphics for all the support of iRacing short course action. Attendance being taken for the drivers before they get rolling for the grid. Dave, who are you watching for Heat 2 as we take a look at Zachary?
Well, I mean, Zach's in that prime position out front. He's got the pole there. So I think he's going to allow the pressure there. You can see him getting a little limber right now, getting ready, cracking the knuckles. Yeah. I don't know if he's trying to scrub the tires, but it doesn't happen too well on dirt.
Yeah, dirt squishes.
Yes.
Yes. He is having racing gloves noticed tonight. Don't think we've seen too many races with him with the gloves compared to tonight's run.
I can see he's got his Sparko set up on.
As the drivers have confirmed they are ready to go. See how Heat 2 fares out. One truck nearly rolled down the hill getting rolling. In fact, nearly rolled down a second time in Kraus. Green coming this time by as they are being told to go nose to tail, Dave. This should be fun for Heat 2.
Oh, definitely. And this hill has bitten a lot of drivers in real life. I remember Carl Rennesenter and Rob McCachran getting into it. And Carl actually came back around and tapped Rob McCachran. Otherwise, he would have gone from the top to the bottom. But he must have flipped at least 12 times. This track is treacherous, whether it's in iRacing or in real life.
Green flag is out. Meanwhile, we're underway for Heat 2, and Dropkin immediately gets sent. Daunchalet with the contact. One driver hits the K-rail. Chase Carr that driver as they all line up. No one spins or flips yet as they make their way to turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like Sheldon Creed slipped up into 3rd position there. So he was trying to battle now for 2nd, almost 3 wide out of turn number 2.
Oh, big one to the back of the field. Minder, Clement, several others. Scott Posey stuck on the K-rail. The rest of the pack runs away, but about 10th on back on the pylon, involved in massive chaos. That builds a buffer for some, including Creed.
Yeah, it's going to get, that always causes some problems there when you see a little bit of action will take out the other drivers. Not many drivers qualify out of this one, so if you're not in that top 5, it's a rough battle just to get up into a qualifying position, and we're only taking the top 3 out of this.
And one more driver just flipped in the backdrop, meanwhile, and Tyson Miller. He's back on 4 wheels, though, as we take a look at Trapkin. Using that equipment to the full enhancement as a battle for 2nd. Huge dive from Creed. Daunchalet drops to 3rd as Creed moves up 1 more spot. Creed already up from 5th to 2nd in a lap and a half.
Oh, Daunchalet is not giving him any room there. You can see he's going to try and tuck in again. He's going to try and get up in a little bit of a draft position. You go wide to see if he's going to try and swing around the outside. Oh, Creed just tucks that inside and holds that line.
0.5 seconds give or take now the advantage for Dropkin over Creed. 4 laps to go, that time by the stripe. Cody Retzlaff, the first driver out currently. And that's the main thing to consider too. The factory SimSport driver has also showed pace throughout the season. See if Retzlaff is able to close up this gap last time by. Did lose 2/10, however, on the stopwatch.
Well, I think it's pretty much deja vu, other than the whole field didn't get caught up. Dropkin with that little punt he had in that turn number 1 has helped him out quite a bit. But these drivers are starting to reel him in a little bit. When you got Creed breathing down your neck, you're going to run like a scared rabbit.
Up note, Franklin Monac has had trouble in turn 2. He's had to put his truck on the tow, was towards the back of the grouping. Stick with the front for now, as keep in mind, battle for 5th is also still intensifying. Behind all this, Miller trailed behind by a youngster in Minder. also trailed behind by Chase Carr with this orange Polaris RZR truck having significant damage. Both of these trucks, keep in mind, in this grouping, all three in fact, significant hits and near flips so far.
Yeah, you can see a lot of fiberglass damage on these machines, you know, and unfortunately you'll see a lot of fiberglass damage. Doesn't so much affect the truck, but every once in a while you hit something or get some suspension damage, it can ruin your day.
Reed does have a bit of front nose damage as well from all the bumps, and in turn, the gap he had is starting to decrease. Last time, 6/10 picked up, he's nearly lost half that gap. Spanned the past lap or so. 2 laps to go. Joshua still holding on to the bubble spot, but Cody Retzlaff with a clean truck has a chance, nearly gets there, can't get the send fully.
Well, it was nice he got on the binders, kept that contact from happening. And that's something you got to be very careful every once in a while. A little contact there can take you both out.
Retzlaff really trying to poke around, it seems, at the moment. And what can he do? He looks like he's trying to send into 1 and 2 in particular. Just can't get there, Dave, yet.
Yeah, he's trying everything he can. But I'll tell you, you know, he's got some good lines here. Retzlaff trying to find a way around him there. Dachelet, very quick. But as you can see right now, gapping out to Creek. So we're going to watch this battle for third continue until that checker flag drops.
White flag, meanwhile, is out 1 lap to go for Heat Race 2. Rapkin and Creed now with a big buffer over this battle for third. Retzlaff tries to go for the send and missed bottom line for Dachelet. Retzlaff nearly gets to him. Dachelet tries to play defensive now for turn 2. But Retzlaff go for the major send. Retzlaff tries to diamond it on to the bottom of the corner. Had to turn right, though, and back to the left to avoid the K-rail.
Yeah, that K-rail is not your friend for sure. That has been obvious a couple times. We saw the first heat race. It bit a couple drivers there, and they saw them do their turtle impression. Where you see right now, Zach Drapkin, great shot as you're going to see that checkered flag come out.
Zachary Drapkin, a dominant run in Heat 2. He wins the second heat of the night. Star outside, front row in turn with his performance. Sheldon Creed does hold on for second position to move straight on to the feature. Dachelet held on in front of Retzlaff by 9/10 at the stripe. A lot of bumping and banging. Some trouble in the mid-pack in turn, but some clean racing in the end for most. Tempers flare, meanwhile, at the ice cream social down to the pit lane. Drapkin and Creed, along with Dachelet, as mentioned, advance. Retzlaff, Miller, but Bender have to go to the LCQ with Carr, Carpenter, Irvin, and Krause. The rest of the drivers also will join them. Lemmet, Burchard, Scott Posey 1 lap down. Franklin Monac, Trey Blank 5 laps down. Ends that lineup. 1 more heat to go. It's where you'll find Keaton Swain and his speed tonight. Third best in qualifying, starts the pole for this heat. Riamonte will start in second with Bryce Simino in third. Mason Prater to back up the speed he's been showing in recent weeks from fourth, with Crystal King in fifth. Noah Sanders in sixth. Mike Ledner starts in seventh, along with Nathan Wack. Is 26 on sim and 88 on track. Will start in front of Ricky Johnson and Jeremy Parker. James Watson says hello once again in his colorful car, when Kyle Cooper started alongside him in his not-so-colorful truck. Miles Morris scheduled to start 13th, McCorkle and McGeshik rounding out of the field here. Of note, McGeshik did not set a time in qualifying. Jeremy Parker is currently not at the racetrack heading into this this heat race. Dave, we've seen the track really start to transition a little bit here. Your opinion on what we'll see for Heat 3 in turn?
Oh, well, I'm after seeing the performance from Braden Chiramani last week, he's sitting in a nice position, but Semina always very quick for sure. And I mean, just the talented field that we're seeing out there, whether it's been real-life drivers and sim drivers, it translates so well. But I'm going to go... probably going to see Braden Chiramani on this one. I've got a good feeling.
Showed some great speed last time out. I'd be surprised to see him do well again, as he looks to have a strong second run of the campaign. And he mentioned some of the talent levels too, as we take a look at Semino on board from him. In fact, there is the World Championship announcement that came in over the past week or so. iRacing starting its own short course World Championship this June.
Well, that's just going to, bring this level of all the different series to another crescendo. It's just so great. But I think we have probably some of the best drivers out there right now. I'm just looking at this talent field. Swain and, Chiramani, Ricky Johnson, Mason Prater. Oh, my goodness. It's the who's who of short course.
I wouldn't be surprised to see at least 2/3, if not 3/4 of the field you see in this series make a run, if not be in the World Championship by the time that summertime starts. But for Keaton Swain, he'll start this race off with a bang. He's off and away and already clear coming up to the flag stand. Monty those. He's taken 3 wide and slams into Semino. Semino bumps him out of the way. The Wheezy Animal is up to second, 3 wide for third.
Well, great run there. You can see Chiramani trying to shoot right in there. Semino with a great run himself. But Keaton Swain, really not surprised there. Oh! Chiramani on his lid.
Chiramani upside down indeed in the middle of the corner. And a bump from behind sends Oopsie Crystal King into him. That was Noah Sanders who gives the tap that sends King into this.
Well, Reno is in Nevada, and I shouldn't have laid that bet down because I just came up snake eyes.
What can you say? Sometimes, never know what can happen, right? Mason Prater, he hopes to try and make second place happen. He take the bet of getting it clear in second. Nope, instead he'll make the bump in the door, and Semino in turn has the preferred line. He clears on by for turn 2.
I actually think he helped him hop up a position there just now. A little bit of contact.
You're still in third position, keep in mind with all that. Look from the 07 machine. See him very focused and intent here. You can see him looking a little bit towards that back mirror currently with Prater right at his left rear tire.
Now he's got the key. Oh, go ahead.
He was going to lick the stamp, and he does get the stamp sent. Mason Prater takes away second.
Absolutely beautiful move by Prater as he moves that inside line there.
Look who's in reach, though, as a bit more contact back. Crystal King with the popcorn opportunity to try and pop ahead and bump into the bubble spot. King, will she take the look yet? No, instead Semino nearly turns Prater. King in turn takes advantage to send it.
King with a beautiful move up the inside there, taking advantage. And she needs to go down and shut that door on Semino. And she does, shows him the rear end.
What will the 07 do in response? Keep in mind that machine started off strong with that send into turn 1. Now, needs to try and find a way back around the 278. All this is while Swain is checked out by 1 second. Mason Prater, an eye on that though as things continue on. Here is a look at Swain in particular. Clean sailing so far for the 21. Trying to rebound after the very rough ending to the last round.
Yeah, Swain's one of the drivers like Prater or Barry or any of these young drivers I've seen. You let them get out front, it is a chase all the way. It is tough for these guys. They don't make mistakes often.
Watch though for Semino trying to set things on up, and lap traffic is ahead. And guess which truck? It's the 73 who is in the middle of the battle for the race lead. He is in between first and second. Prater has closed about half a second the past 2 laps, but he also has to deal with the 73 now.
I'm actually kind of shocked. Where did he come from?
The pit lane.
I know. It's just like, why would you get in the middles? You got to let these drivers go by. There you go.
Didn't make it easy though for Prater. Prater loses a little bit of time, still 8/10 needed to close up for the 1 truck. And in turn, 73 nearly gets moved by Kane. Will that open up the door for Semino? Not yet. As Riamonte tries to slide a little higher up. Holding up King.
That's always a tough one there when you come out of the pit lane, you get in the mix with the leaders, you start racing the leaders. Are you slowing down the progress of the other drivers trying to get into a qualifying position? Pretty much you're out of it at this point.
2 laps down, keep in mind the 73, last truck running for the final time around. White flag is up. Semino get the run. 73 has been warned twice now with his position amongst the race leaders. King be able to use him as a pick though. Will Semino be able to try and take advantage for a lead? King tries to take advantage and move it that left truck. King though bobbles out to the left. Semino tries to dive in. Last warning to the 73. To the K-road goes King. Kane hit the wall. Here comes Semino for third.
Semino will have the inside line coming up. He's going to have to get a little brake check, get on the binders a little bit so King can't dive to the inside. Beautiful line by Semino. That'll put him in that qualifying position.
Checker flag. Swain holds on barely. Check that. Prater switches out at the last moment as something happened to Swain at the checkered. Semino in third. What happened to Swain? Did he do what I think he just did? There is a 6-truck invert, right? This puts him technically as the pole sitter. He says he's out of fuel at that point.
Oh.
Interesting, as that will take us to the LCQs. Prater, Swain, Semino, top 3. King, Johnson, Sanders, the LCQ with Alec, Morse, Linder, Cooper, top 10. The rest of the field featured lineup of McKeshik, McCorkle, Charmonti, who was warned 3 times by race control at the positioning there. Watson, 4 laps down. Jeremy Parker did not take the green.
Well, racing not without controversy.
An understatement to say the very least, as Burke tries to hope not have a rough one here. With Franks, Audio, and Briley in the top 4. Keep in mind that 17 was a contender before that point. Brock Smith, Metzinger, 5th and 6th. Shane Paul, his luck? Oh, he's reached snake eyes at every single track this season. He is in 7th on this grid after being top 5 early in his heat. Keeble in 8th. Crosby, Hill, Ramsey, Ebert round out to 12. As a result of the one less heat, there are 3 drivers advancing out for the LCQs. One more spot on the line as the green flag is out. We're underway for 4 laps of action. Going defensive to start, not able to pull off and away, and Burke shuffles into Franks. Bumper cars into the corner. Trucks slide around, all the trucks survive. He holds on to 4th, but it's Gaudio trying to battle for 2nd with Franks. Franks holds on to the inside. Here comes the big send, though, once again from the blue and yellow truck. Metzinger with the contact.
Yeah, it looks like Briley right back there, too.
Briley still in the 4th position, keep in mind, as actually the last truck, in Pack 1. Look from Briley trying to set things up with the 440. Keep in mind, Smith has lost several seconds as a result of all the shuffling behind and around them. First lap complete already. Keep in mind, mentioned top 3 advance, so a lot of pressure to keep this clean here as we take a look at the top 4 grouping.
Gaudio trying to do everything he can to keep his eye on 2nd, but hold off the advances of Briley.
Briley having to check up, though, in the middle of the corner. Still can't get the run he's been looking for in the 17. No, Brock Smith is getting to bumper, dooring, and bumping again with Ethan Ebert in the back drum. That has allowed them, in turn, top 4 should say, to pull away by nearly 2 full seconds. That red and white truck. Racing Machine having a stellar run. Again, Ebert started in 12th spot in this LCQ.
Well, he's looking for a little redemption after that one. He got tied up in that first heat there and got shuffled around. Well, now he's looking to get up there and get a qualifying position. But Briley, Gaudio, Franks, and tell you what, the man out front has got all the pressure on him right now.
Burke looking for what would be his best run of the entire campaign if he could hold on to win this LCQ. Lap and a half to go. Trouble at the back. Brock Smith has been involved in an incident. Keep on following along towards the front, though, because Gaudio is getting shuffled out of 3rd. Here comes the 17 of Briley. Briley trying to get the run. Ebert also within range. 3 cars, 3 trucks, 3 wide into turn 4. Briley moves back into third, side by side for 4 for the white flag.
Now it's got Ebert trying to get up the inside there in the 57 there. Getting by Gaudio. They love that inside line. Coming up on Briley. It's going to be 3 wide, little contact, little sandwich action.
Jane Paul has just been disqualified for an issue. Meanwhile, Briley tries to pull away from Ebert, over-rotates as he slams into Ebert, into the back end of the 17. Ebert trying to bully him. He fills the hole, he shuffles the hole, he slams the hole open. One more corner, Ebert to the inside, Briley on the outside. Briley tries to pinch him. They slam, they touch. Here comes Gaudio with the slam. He pushes the 17 out of the way, and Ethan Ebert will get the final transfer for the LCQ. Burke and Franks 1 and 2 in front. Wow.
Physical race for sure.
And tempers are flaring, keep in mind, off a turn 1 exit. 2 drivers involved in the contact getting into a little bit of bumper cars as Burke, Franks, and Ebert do move on in turn. Owen Briley are done for the night. Hill, Metzinger, Crosby, Keeble, and Smith, the top 10 for this evening's run. Jane Paul disqualified with a few laps to go, and Ramsey did not start, left early. Now it's time for another LCQ, led by Cody Retzlaff this time, with Miller and Minder top 3. Chase Carr starting in 4th in this one. Hunter Carpenter, Aiden Irvin, rows with Mike Clement, Burchard, and 9th. Scott Posey looks to try and have the pig that's on the front of his truck sing a melody of a charge from the back. Monac and Blank rounding out the 12. And for those wondering, while it looks like a default paint, no, that is not a default paint because you cannot put pigs with guitars and musical instruments on the side and front of your truck unless you make a custom paint.
Rockin' pig. I like it.
Apparently makes music, you see, with a bit of that text on the bottom for advertising portion for Posey.
I would have gone when pigs fly, but...
Will he fly to the front is the question. Big brake check as the green flag waves. Retzlaff is gone. Minder holding on to second for the first corner. Third, though, gets shuffled around. Carpenter, one truck from 3 car lanes, and Burchard pushes one truck upside down. 3 wide, one truck nearly pushed the pit exit. Side by side for third as Carpenter holds on, but Hunter Carpenter will get shuffled out of the way. Another truck under the K-rail. It's Brian Clement who gets back onto 4 wheels. It's Retzlaff and Minder of the cleanest launches of the race so far. Here's Carpenter. He's still in the hunt for 4th despite losing part of the fenders.
And great shot there, sitting in 4th. You can see Chase Carr back in 5th, right behind him. Get his stack. The 13 tries to dive down low, push him out of the way of that Polaris Razorback machine. Oh, he's right.
Carr moves up to 4th as they slam off of turn 4. Burchard nearly to the inside K-rail. Then backs it up and in turn pushes a few trucks out of the way. Carpenter, though, keeps it on 4 wheels barely. But it's still on for third, though. Miller and Carr battling. The Terminator in front. Carr nearly gets turned.
You got to wonder about the speeds they're carrying out. It looks like they're trying to use each other as berms coming out of turn 1 and 2 at this point. Not the way you're going to finish a race. A lot of damage. They'll take each other out. Not smart on that for sure. Carr, though, in a great position. Back and forth. He's hunting down Miller.
A little bit of a hard bump, though, as well. Burchard, keep in mind, you see the backdrop. Swapping spots with Irvin. That loses them ground and out of touch in turn. They will be with 2 laps to go, unless this intensifies even more. Race lead that's separated by 4/10 in front intensifies more than the single file, with Minder keeping things in check for Retzlaff. Third spot still in the line with Miller trying to hug the inside. Carr trying to time in the corner. Can't get the run quite yet to get side by side as the 90 seems to be intent on hugging the bottom. Do not give it up.
Yeah, it looks like Miller. It looks like Miller tries to run the inside quite a bit. You can see how Carr would move out and stay on the inside coming out of turn number 2, trying to get that outside to inside, but Miller just hugs that K-rail.
Coming up to the final lap once more in this one. Retzlaff and Minder 1, 2, 3/10 separate them for the final time around. We're looking to hold on to the bubble spot. The final transfer from this LCQ. Here comes the contact. Here comes the hit. They slam. They bump. Carr tries to hold on to the outside. Inside line held by Miller. Harder into the braking zone. Goes to 13. He bumps the 90. Miller to the left side again. Right side for Carr. Here comes Carpenter, who joins the fray. He pushes Carr out of the mix. And that may do it for Miller. Checker flag waits up at the stand. Retzlaff looks to close it out in front. Carpenter looks to launch it in. He flips Miller. They all crash. There goes the 90. Miller, by miracle, in a half moment, holds on to third. He moves on.
What a shocking finish for sure.
Retzlaff and Minder 1 and 2 in front by my goodness. Retzlaff, Minder, and Miller rounding out the top 3. But the voice crack of the night with Irvin and Burchard in 4th and 5th. Krause and Blank in 6th and 7th. Clement and Posey, along with Carpenter, the top 10, 18 seconds the gap after craziness decided to break out. Carr and Monac do not finish the lap. One more time as Crystal King will start third and final LCQ after having lap traffic management to deal with. E. Johnson starts in 2nd. Then Mount. Rapper and Storm right 4. Emerson Linder clean out the down spots, down 6. Cooper start outside those spots with Begeshik. Gorko starts alongside Ramonte. Watson and Parker round out the top 12. Of note, Parker is not in the facility right now. And Roy Folsom, happy to be here on radio. The drivers quickly getting to work for one more LCQ to decide who moves on. Final 3 spots in the field. The green flag is out. The pace truck goes off for its speed to the lane. Crystal King speeds her way into turn 1. Saucy Susan holds on to the bottom. Ricky Johnson is upside down in the middle of the corner. 3 wide behind the leaders as they battle it out still. Sanders to 2nd. Cooper is up to 3rd. Check that. He's been moved by Megashik for the spot. 3 wide again.
Looks like, yeah, 3 wide there. Look at that. Tremonti trying to split the uprights.
What a charge for the 73 after being lap traffic in his heat at the end of that run. He's gone from 10th to 3rd in a lap. Nearly crashing for 4th behind him now.
Well, 4 laps aren't a long time here in this race. These are very fast, very quick laps for sure.
Huge set, meanwhile, for Mikashik in the backdrop in the battle going on for 5th. As to the K-rail into the middle of the track goes Malik. He's flipped upside down. And he's doing a headstand in the middle of the corner. In turn, you have Roy Folsom. He's getting hit from behind. That nearly gained him. In fact, does gain him a spot from the shot.
It's nice to get a little help from your friends out there, a little nerf into another position.
And that was James Watson with the love tap from behind. Some looking to settle things on down, as mentioned.
Oh, Johnson again.
Ricky Johnson cannot buy a break. 11th that time around, and for a second time this LCQ, he's been flipped.
Well, you gotta wonder if the drinking team is in full effect here.
Wow. He did flip over McCorkle in response, by the way. As taking a look now at the top three, one of the quickest trucks on the track is the 73. Tremonti looking to try and jump up to second and pick up more track position for the feature one more time around. Yeah, we've already gone through 3 laps. That's how busy this has gone as we take a look at Lindner. Up on the wheel indeed in his red Wings truck. Final time around, Crystal King for redemption after the close calls before. 73, minimize mistakes. Right now has a big buffer, 4-5 seconds, Dave. Just have to make the corners and you make it.
Well, that's what I talked about. We have so much talent in all these fields and all these heats and LCQs. When that driver gets out front, it is hard to reel them in. Battles are always for second, third, and fourth as they try to fight their way through.
After lap traffic became a factor for the battle for the final transfer for the respective heat for Crystal King, King is able to bounce back. The helmet with the smiley face. Crystal King will also have a smile on her face. She wins the last LCQ. She moves on to the feature. Noah Sanders and Braden Tremonti will join him. Join her. Red. Cleanest run, we'll say, between the heats and the LCQs there, as Cooper, Morse, Folsom, Gashik, Lindner, Johnson, and Watson are done for the evening. Corkle, flipping upside down, finishes last. Lead lap in 11th. Back after flipping upside down in the middle of the circuit, finished in 12th. The driver did not take the green flag in Parker. It's been an interesting night so far, as West Motorsports Park has lived up to its name virtually this evening. More action coming up. You're watching iRacing Short Course National Series competition, the midway portion of the season, coming around the corner after this.
Hi everybody, it's Derek Perniciglio for Super Clean. But whether you work around the shop, the garage, or the home, spills are going to happen. And now, Super Clean introduces their new Super Clean floor absorbent into their new product line to make cleaning up spills faster and easier. This all-natural product comes in an easy-to-pour 3-pound shaker jug. Just shake out the amount you need over your spill, give it a few minutes to absorb, and then clean up in an instant. Unlike traditional clay products, this product is virtually dust-free and absorbs 4 times faster. Now, we break out our Super Clean cleaner and degreaser for a 1-2 punch to clean up the stain completely. You can pick up your own 3-pound shaker jug of all-natural Super Clean at AutoZone, and you can also check us out at superclean.com. Super Clean, super easy, super fast, super clean.
Welcome back to Wild West Motorsports Park, state of Nevada. The iRacing Short Course National Series, 5th round of the campaign coming up to the feature. We'd like to give a shout out to the support sponsors in CBR Performance Products, AIM Sports Data, Super Clean, Sports World, Signature Propellers, Positive Beverage, and Smith Graphics. Justin Prince, Dave Arnold with you as we get ready for what should be a rough and tough feature. Of note, drivers are being warned about the contact seen from the heats and LCQs. It's going to be interesting how the drivers respond, though, and this is where that 1 full pace lap we referred to will come into play to reduce the amount of slick for the racetrack. Dave, your opinions and expectations for the feature.
Well, I think you said it best. It's living up to its name, Wild West. It is the Wild West out there for sure. I mean, one of the more physical races we've seen in a while out there, and I think the little slick conditions that you talked about early on, that could be effective. Hopefully 1 lap's enough to burn this track in to get a little bit more traction. But, man, halfway through the season or, getting to that midpoint, I think some of the drivers are getting a little desperate out there. You're back in the pack. You're not running up in the top 3. It's going to get physical. I know the driver's been warned, but expect more contact.
Especially with the nature of the racetrack, because in a lot of the major events here over the years, especially the past couple, contact is the name of the start, to say the least, here at the circuit. And if you don't see 5 trucks upside down over the course of 22 laps, then you might end up taking the millions if you take the under. I'm not great at the Nevada reference.
Yeah, I was going to say, well said on the gambling side of that one, but I'll take the over on that one because I think they're going to over-deliver on each other tonight.
So in turn, the drivers finishing up their final preparations. We've seen some great performances so far. The pole sitters for each of the heats kept things clean and were able to build up a strong buffer in mind. Keep in mind as well with the invert, and as a result of shuffling about, Keaton Swain, because he ran out of fuel at the line, only 10 feet away from it, he'll start on the pole, Dave. Your thoughts as Connor Berry in turn will start 6th.
Well, I think it's a little bit interesting there. I guess, I don't know if he timed that just right or he did roll the dice and he rolled a 7.
Indeed, and 7 good in rolling dice when it comes to...
Yes.
Oh, so the good side, yes.
Yes, 7-11, baby. You got to bet the come,
7.
as they say. Yep, lucky number 7. In that case, Semino should be the man.
Was going to say, he's shown great speed. He's been very bold when it comes to the battling. Your opinion if someone we see from the mid-pack can do it? You mentioned top 3 has been the preferential spot, but we have seen a couple charge from the very back to the very front in a lap or 2.
Well, yeah, it's all going to depend on the first couple of turns. It's going to establish, if someone makes a mistake and takes out that back half of the pack, a point sitter could be in trouble sitting back in 6th position. And that's going to allow somebody like Swain just to run away with this one. But if they all go through clean I think if they make it through the first 2 or 3 turns, I think we're going to see a good race.
Last of the messages being brought on forward from race control in league admins as we get ready for 18 trucks. Around and see, can they conquer Wild West? Keaton Swain with the invert will start on the pole alongside the very famous Sheldon Creed. He'll be driving a stock car this year. Roy and Prater starting 3rd and 4th with Dropkin in Berry. Top 6. In Dachele starting 7th and 8th, then it's Semino in 9th with Burke. Brett's Laughing King round out the top 12. Franks and Minder start 13th, 14th positions with Sanders and Eber, 8th and 16th. Miller and Caramonte round out the 18 trucks on the grid for this one. Again, let's take a reference to the Martin Sports weather conditions because it is very hot now, to say the least. 84 degrees Fahrenheit air temp, 92 degrees Fahrenheit the track temperature, clear blue skies because it's Nevada. As they pace lap around this circuit, it is just past 12:30 p.m. in sim time. That is a lot different than the 71 degrees Fahrenheit we've seen for the heat races, by the way, at plus 21, as expected when it comes to this type of weather in Nevada.
Well, they always say if you don't like the weather in Nevada, just wait a minute.
Well,
I mean, temperature swings from like 30, 40 degrees sometimes.
First thing that comes to mind almost is that weatherman that had that issue with the weather conditions, the backdrop where it said it was 1,000 degrees, 3,000 degrees in the middle of the state. I believe it was around Nevada that clip was from.
I wouldn't doubt it. And I've been there in the summertime. Reno doesn't get as high as Vegas, but it gets warm and it feels like 1,000 degrees.
Drivers will go green this time by. Your pick to win this one.
I don't know if I'm going to even guess on this one because there is so much talent up front. But I think right now the advantage for Keaton Swain. I don't know if it was planned or luck came into play, but put him out front. We're going to see because the green flag's about ready to drop.
Boy, already over the back end of Swain. Green flag is out. They try and match the pace of the iRacing pace truck. We're underway from Wild West for feature racing. Bane with traffic from behind as Sheldon Creed gets shuffled out of the way. Several trucks hit the K-rail. They all stack up off of turn 1. Dropkin in turn up to 3rd. Roy is up to 2nd. Side by side into turn 2. Dropkin rides on top of Barry and gets helped along for 3 wide.
Well, you can see Barry and you can see Prater down front, right in front of Barry, trying to come up between Creed and Roy. Those guys are real tight there. You can't split the uprights.
Deep breaths, Barry. He just had the truck, keep in mind, to his left on top of him. 3 wide for third. Prater, Drapkin, Creed all slamming into each other. Creed stuck on the right side. Minnow lane for Prater. Drapkin to the inside. Here comes Barry to join the fray as Creed tries to turn down. That doesn't work as Prater moves up to third. Creed all the way back to fifth, a -3 and a lap and a half.
I think I just had a flashback to mod carts. These kids, all 3 of them, or 4 of them, drove together in mod carts at one time. Wow, incredible.
2x2 in turn as Barry gives a shot to the back end of Creed. Creed squeezes Prater. Prater stuck along the K-rail nearly there. Way and Swain in turn pulled away by nearly 2 seconds from all this fighting, but Barry looks to find his way to fourth, tries to turn it down in front of Prater's nose. But he make it work though. Look from Drapkin, he's been shuffled back to 6th after getting bounced and banged around in the span of about a few corners. Up and down the pylon already.
Well, you can see Swain, he did get that help with everybody tying up there, but I think it's going to come down to the restart here. I think we're going to see it pretty much established there. Barry may or may not get another position here, but when it comes to that restart, it's all going to be timing there. Creed and Prater look like they're battling now.
Dauchelet tried to join the fray as well from 5 truck lengths back. Barry gets squeezed by Drapkin. Drapkin not giving too much space. Here's the look from Simino. And he's found a buddy in the backdrop now. You can see the significant error, it appears, wanting to see if things go well with Barry making the pass in front. Wide open eyes from Simino.
Well, I know that he and Keaton Swain, I guess they've talked and shared some setups on the same team setup there. He's got the Keaton Swain Racing shirt on.
And a contact up in front of the grouping as here's Drapkin again. Wearing the racing gloves tonight, still in that 6th position after the shuffling about. Prater getting very defensive. Barry getting very divey. Barry with the diamond nearly makes it work. Actually behind them did hit the K-rail, nearly flipped over along the 07. Single file as we are already approaching the end of 4 laps. Very busy, we'll say. Only charging drivers through the pack so far. Minder +5 in the heart of the field in 9th. +6 for Ebert, +5 for Bryden Giramante. Here's the look from Ebert.
And you see Giramante really trying to fight his way up there. And you can see the little gap in separation between the packs there. Top 5 drivers pretty much setting the pace there. 6, 7, oh, driver goes over.
Dauchelet, and what a rejoin in front of the field. Dauchelet came across Grady and just destroyed him. More bumping and banging, 3 abreast once again. Armani cleared on by. Here's a look at the replay as, wow.
Just cleaned out Dauchelet there, the old Merrill barrel. Back on 4 and going.
You seen the rejoin there, significant damage in turn.
You got to have some suspension damage after that, that's for sure.
Drivers are starting to really have to back it down here too, Dave, hearing in the midst of the corners here. So keep in mind, that response time is going to be critical in this pack in particular. Barry looking to try and use the long run pace we've seen throughout the season. Make the pass, still can't make it on the 1.
Well, I can tell you, it's reminiscent watching right now Barry, Prater, and Drapkin. They've battled many times door to door in the mod carts over the years, and it's pretty much deja vu for these drivers. They know each other, they know their moves, they know where they're going to go. And I think when you watch these 3 drivers, they're not going to take each other out.
Taking a look with Connor Barry. And with the way things are set up, not just with the suspension, very cleanly set up there. It almost looks like he's trying to keep his eyes closed just with the angle.
He's using the force.
Sometimes you do need the force, right, to be able to help control your car and truck and make sure the driver in front makes a mistake. Or you can boop him out of the way like that, as Drapkin again hits the back end of Connor Barry. All trucks hold on stationary for the positions. Quickly approaching the competition, caution keep in mind. Already approaching 7 laps completed. Give credit to Swain, to Sheldon Creed. He wants the podium. Felix Roy wants a second still. If not a lead, with Swain still within reach.
I'll tell you, these two drivers have gapped the rest of the field, and Creed leading the rest of them right now. You know, getting back to you actually made a good point. These drivers, one of the things is they learn heart control, keeping your heart rate down, staying calm, so you're not doing jerky motion. It's all about smooth. It's all about the flow, being one with the truck. They always say the old adage of driving by the seat of your pants. Well, it kind of, you get the feel of the truck, you get the feel, and it translates through your body. So if your truck's running smooth, you're running smooth, your race is smooth.
So critical in turn, and that's why a lot of the top drivers spend time being able to help with that focus and be able to stay calm, cool in these types of fights. You panic, you drive like you feel panicked.
You overdrive, exactly.
Exactly. If you're angry, you see a lot of bumping and banging.
Then you play Grand Theft Auto.
Okay. Miller, meanwhile, let's take a look at 415th. Big trouble, though, in the battle going on for 4th. Prater, Barry, and Dropkin all slam as a result of a big send. Seen a little bit of that possibility coming in on entry, we'll say, from Barry, because he was hanging on the back end of Prater before the send.
And you can see those lines there. You can see Prater is just hitting all of his marks. It's everywhere Connor wants to be, Prater is there. Dropkins is sitting back in the catbird seat watching these two unfold. You can't sit back there because these two aren't going to take each other out. Dropkins going to have to make some moves.
Starting lap 10, competition caution coming up the next time around. Barry with a great run down the straight. He's got the inside. Can he make it stick? Really misses the bottom. Gotta get the run. Again, mandatory confirmed this time by Barry looking to make the outside work. Prater looking to hold on to 4 for the competition yellow. Prater misses the bottom. Barry shuffled back. Huge slides on behind. Barry, though, with the preferred line to turn 3, gives Prater the space, though, to try and get the run off the corner.
Oh, Prater just might have given a position up there. He's going to let Barry get to the inside of him. That's not where you want to be going around this turn. Oh, here comes Drapke with a big send.
You mentioned about having to find your spot with how things are battling about. Dropkin rips away 5th to the competition caution. Barry shuffled up to 4th. Competition caution now taken by the drivers as they slow about. Here for the caution period of note, Crystal Kane, right as that competition caution was called, took the faster pair after a rough race for the 278, so Kane will get the chance to stay on the lead lap. As a result, there is the wave if you do get into that situation.
Yeah, King seems like she's had some bad luck this season, getting caught up in a lot of things that aren't her fault. I mean, we saw how well she could drive coming out of that LCQ, taking the win, and then all of a sudden, it's just she turned into a pinball machine up there.
Drivers already being told coming to green this time by, and with how things have fared out with this race, opinions for the second half here, especially knowing the leads now have been shrunk about, but the dominant, if you're the control truck, it's been very tough to pass said control truck.
That is true. I mean, if you're out front, you already got the fast lines. Unfortunately, in off-road, sometimes you got to force the issue, and I think that's what we're going to probably see. We saw Dropkin trying to force it up there. It was a door-to-door, not trying to change his angle of the truck, and that's what they look for in the admins. When you come at an angle, and you change position in that of the truck, and then there's a black flag. Door-to-door, it's all good, and green flag is dropped.
All good into the corner. Check that. They're all crashing in the corner. One driver just hit the K-rail in the heart of the pack, and Franks. The rest of the field is clean, however. Though, keeping close to Swain, though, to the inside. The run work to the right side of the racetrack. Swain back single file. Within range still is Creed, Connor Berry, Dropkin, Prater, the top 6 off the restart.
Well, pretty much we expected on this restart. These guys are all great at that restart there. But I think Swain is the one that's going to feel the most nervous up there and the most pressure right now. Especially with Roy, Creed, you got Barry back there, Dratkin, Prater. I mean, it's the who's who of short course.
One black flag in sim worth noting. One of the drivers in the mid-pack, James Burke, remember, who had that strong run in the LCQ, does have an in sim black flag off the start. See if the 7 ends up having to serve it. It's already let by all the other trucks. It's grouping.
Might have done a little too quick.
Yeah. Now it's a 4-truck pack and turn, and you have to wonder, can Barry keep ahead and keep up, rather? We've seen how dominant Barry's been on the long run. The thing is, this is the farthest back Barry's had to come off a restart this season. As Roy tries to jump into the camera.
Oh, Roy had a hard hit there and allowing almost Creed to open up the door for him there. Creed's looking for him to force into a mistake. Look for Creed to dive to the inside this time. Oh, Roy's trying to stay low, but here comes Creed trying to get the nose in.
Creed still keeping within range of the 91. The Jim Beaver Esports machine still holding on to second, wanting the lead though. Can't get to Swain. Creed now eating the back bumper of the 91. Number run, but Creed holds on to the podium position. Noticing though, Creed, the past 2 laps, wider arc into the run through turn 3, Dave. Both times Barry hasn't been able to take advantage and get to the inside.
Oh yeah, the top drivers there, they're not going to leave that door open. They know where you're going to go. Creed is not going to leave the door for Barry because he's mindful of where Roy is and his position when he wants the truck. But he also doesn't want to change that position to allow Connor to move up in the inside.
Down to under 8 laps to go as Creed gasses it up into the wall. Creed trying to get the run off the corner underneath Roy, couldn't make it work. They still within 3/10, another hard bump in the corner. Creed misses the bottom into turn 2. And with the slide, again, back single file. Dropkin and Prater, if things heat up, are within a range of about 1.1 seconds. Here's a look at Barry. Calm, cool, and collected, number 28 truck.
He's got that sly little smile. I think he's having fun.
Now he's got the O face.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh.
It's the hardest he's had to work all season, as we referred to. Can he pass 3 trucks in 7 laps, though, is the tough part. We see them near dead even on the pace, keep in mind. All of them around the 50.0s, 50.1s right now.
I mean, this pack is hauling the mail for sure.
Pretty tight amongst them still, as Barry this time can't get it towards the send. You have to wonder what drivers like Sheldon Creed might be thinking. This is the best run swing Sheldon Creed's had so far, albeit in a couple of starts. Chance for his best run of the season early.
Well, I mean, they're all hitting that preferred line. It's really hard. When you got that fast line, you know, they may leave a little of the inside open, but you may scrub a little speed up. And if you go around the outside, you're definitely going to scrub some speed up. So it's like, I don't know, trying to force these guys into a mistake without changing their attitude of their truck.
Again, that's what we call the force. Well, the force be with one of the lead drivers to force a mistake in the top 4. Here's a look, meanwhile, at the battle we mentioned for 5th position. Drapkin still holding on in front of Prater. Prater still within a truck lane. Blue and black machine.
Somebody's going to have to get the shoehorn out. Nobody wants to leave that inside open for anybody to get through. They might be kicking the door down soon.
Especially with high five coming from Barney the flagman. Will somebody respond with the high five by saying, "Hi, Barney. I like that spot now, too." We'll see how things fare out with Creed, Roy, and company battling amongst the positions. Creed trying to take a higher line. He tries something different. Doesn't work this time. For Connor Barry, furthest back he's been amongst the top 4 grouping, falling back towards the clutches, in fact, of the 56 and the 1. Big shout out, meanwhile, for the grouping behind, because the battle for the biggest mover is having a wrestling match for 7th. Ebert with +9, Charmonti is a +10. They're all over each other for the 7th position.
Yeah, you can see right now that Ebert holding out the advances there, as you just talked about, of Cheramani. Semino right behind Cheramani. And, oh!
Something wrong with Dropkin. He's up to the outside. Black flag for Dropkin as he got flipped up round and went backwards into the corner.
I don't know how that could be a black flag for him. He did that himself.
See if race control reviews that towards that mark, but it was seeing the signs of that with Roy. Hard bumps on the jumps. Under 4 laps to go.
Well, you're right. We saw Roy where he had that bad off-camber in that earlier race, and Creed was only able to get by him.
Dropkin in turn, out of contention. He is in 11th position. Burke, who had the service penalty, lost about 32 seconds from that situation. With 3 laps to go, Roy 1.5 seconds back of Swain. Dropkin is serving the penalty, this time by Creed. Holds on to 3rd for now.
Still not sure what the black flag was for, but at least he's serving it.
In the call over the radio involving Dropkin, since he flipped around and went backwards for a significant amount of time, the sim may have picked that up as him driving backwards on the course, which in turn may be the trigger. We'll see what's decided post-race after the situation, as big bumps once again, nearly flipping over again.
That affected all of them. I mean, Creed was able to keep it down, but Roy, and then we saw Barry back there getting that off. That is pretty much what just happened to Dropkin. They're going to have to be careful on that turn.
Especially with 2 laps to go, it can happen to anybody. Roy's been taking the hits and the bumps hard. Swain looking to have one of his best runs in a while after a very bad luck stretch of 2 straight rounds. Being involved in incidents and/or troubles. Barry, meanwhile, would be the lowest finish for him of the season. First time not on the podium if he does not find a way around Creed in a lap and a half.
Well, Justin, we talked earlier about the setups on the vehicle, and I think Swain pretty much nailed it there on that suspension. He has not had that problem through there with the other drivers we've seen.
Actually pulled away another 10th plus for the white flag lap, starting this time by Keaton Swain. Close it out in the Appliance Parts Company machine. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th still grouped together. That's still hotly contested. All the drivers in that train absolutely demolished for the front noses.
Well, just a couple turns to make this happen.
The calmer battles for the race lead of the season. For Swain, very dominant from the get-go, looking to lead every single lap to close it out for one more major jump. No major bobble for Swain. Another clean run for him. Felix Roy nearly flipped over behind. But for Keaton Swain, he may do a backflip of his own. The race victory goes to Keaton Swain. He wins at Wild West.
Well, I think the key was getting that top qualifying position and running out of gas. He definitely rolled the 7.
You caught it from the get-go, and in turn, luck smiles upon him. Roy and Creed, the top 3 in the podium. All 18 trucks this round do take the checker flag as we take a look at the unofficial race results. Creed again rounding up the podium behind Roy and Swain. Barry and Prater the top 5. Barry the first non-podium finish of the season. Ebert Chiramonte 6th and 7th. Semino finished in 8th position. Retzlaff and Minder rounding out the top 10 here at Wild West. 11th spot went the way of Noah Sanders, 15th to 11th. Much delay after some troubles mid-race, finished in 12th. Miller finished in 13th. A good recovery for King. After not making it through the heat race, King recovers from having to take a fast repair to finish 14th. Brady, after having a truck come across his nose after a rejoin, finishes 15th. Franks in 16th. And for the drivers having to serve penalties during this run, Burke and Dropkin, 2 trucks, 17th and 18th. Ford and Price. Intriguing run here tonight here at Wild West. Race coverage and a lot to think about coming right around the corner as drivers look to try and see things fare out and will fare turn for the second half of the season. And I'm curious what the comments will be for some of the drivers after some of the runs we've seen here. Dave, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, they're going to say it's one of the more physical ones, but for the drivers out front there on the podium, especially Keaton Swain, he didn't see a lot of that. But Felix Roy, boy, I got to talk to him about some of those hard hits and how he's able to hold on to that machine.
Swain now standing by after a 2-second victory. Keaton, rough couple rounds coming into this one. Tonight, you dominate the feature.
Yeah, it was good. Good race. Luckily, caught an invert, so we started up front. I set my truck up for the end of the race, so I just knew if I could get up front and lay my laps down, I can hopefully build a gap and, lead out the mandatory, and that's what we did. So truck was really good. Like I said, set up towards the end. I'm starting to get a real bad bounce there into the last turn, but I think everyone was. So other than that, everything was on point tonight for sure.
Now, we had one truck, in fact, and Trap can flip over from that bump you're referring to. And we have to ask, though, as well, part of the reason you became the pole sitter for the feature, you ran out of gas in the heat race. What happened from your perspective there?
Yeah, we ran out of gas, and obviously it worked into my favor. I don't want to be that guy, but I guess sometimes it's better to play a little strategy sometimes.
Very wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I will say.
Yeah.
Second half of the season, you close up some points in turn after the struggles the past couple rounds. Second half opinion for the second half of the season.
Just keep doing the same thing we've been doing all season, just try to put our truck up front. Obviously, we've had a little bad luck, but we've had the speed. So if we can just continue to be consistent and stay up front, we'll have a good shot at trying to reel in Connor here. Obviously, he's real fast everywhere we go. So just continue to do what I'm doing and hopefully get a little luck on our side along the way.
Anyone you want to thank or give a shout out to in that 21 truck?
Yeah, I just got to thank everyone that helps me out. Plants Parts Company, Factory Sim Sport, Sim Coach Pedals, everyone that helps out Connor's League, you guys for doing the broadcast. Obviously, that's what puts this show on, so just can't thank all those people enough.
Congratulations on the feature victory tonight in dominating fashion, all 22 laps led by you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Keaton Swain celebrating a dominant performance here. Felix Roy, another run, finishes in second. Once again, he gets to catch up with Dave.
Felix, man, sitting second in points. You had a lot of pressure coming into this one, but to be able to finish in front of Connor Berry has got to make you feel a little bit better. And the points one, even though you didn't take the win, you still got a little bit of bump up.
Oh yeah, I mean, podium, we'll take them every day. Pretty happy with them. Three podium in a row, so that's pretty good. And just hopefully we can do more and just stay consistent. That's the key. And yeah, I mean, Connor had a bad night tonight. Not really a bad night, but didn't finish on the podium. Wish he would. But yeah, other than that, that's it.
Well, talk about the physicality of this race. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on through the heat races. We saw it in the LCQ. It looks like you pretty much stayed out of it. I know you got a few bumps coming out of turn number 3 a few times. But the real question is, turn number 4, watched you so many times. In fact, we're watching it right now. That truck got so unsettled there. How did you hold on to it?
Oh, it was really rough there on that last turn. I was asking, because Josh was spotting me a little bit, and I was asking him, like, dude, what do I do? Keep bumping everywhere, and kind of helped me a little bit. At the end, it was really, really rough. And had a couple hits in the heats, but hopefully it wasn't that bad. Was able to recap of it. Definitely, it's tight racing here, So long straightaway, really tight turn. So it's never happened. There's no contact here. So.
Well, for sure, Wild West doesn't disappoint once again. It gets wild as they did in the Old West. And congratulations to you. And I know you got some people to thank for getting on the box and keeping those points rolling. Oh
yeah, definitely. I like to thank my team, Jim Beaver Esport. Shout out to Cam hooking me up with a good set. You know, he coached me a little bit last week, where to run, and a little bit. It really helps me. So shout out to him for helping me out. Thanks to my sponsor, Case Close Royale. You guys for the good broadcast, like always. And yeah, that's it.
Well, congratulations again, Felix Roy. Keeping that podium streak going.
Oh, yeah, we'll try. Thank you.
All right.
Once again, Felix Roy coming home in second tonight, and Sheldon Creed finishes in third. First podium of the season, Sheldon. Very busy time for you, and a very successful run here. Your thoughts after this run here at Wild West?
Yeah, I mean, just jumping on here at night, having fun. Haven't really done it in a while. Didn't really take it too serious last year, and then raced a couple weeks ago and figured I'd do it again. So spent a little more time on it this week, so obviously got a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough for setups and everything that goes into it. It's a lot of work to be fast.
And all this is while you mentioned having fun at night. This is while you're trying to manage stock car racing campaigns coming up involving your run in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. You've also been a prominent figure in this type of racing for years. How is it trying to balance all this out while trying to find the time to have fun like tonight?
I mean, yeah, that's a lot, obviously, during the day. Then get home and do stuff around the house or whatever, cook dinner. And yeah, I don't know. I usually get on here with my cousin Braden Monte, so we play around a lot together, probably almost every night, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. It's not obviously too hard to find some time at night, especially when it's fun stuff like this. Obviously, it makes me want to do it more and yeah, just challenge myself at different things.
Now, of note, around the time the next round would be, I believe you'll be in Daytona for your Xfinity Series run there with RCR. Your opinion on how things may fare out for the Beef? It's What's for Dinner race going on at Super Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, excited to get down there. There's been a lot going on lately here in North Carolina, so just trying to get ready for that, training. Excited to get rolling. I'm not really a huge fan of off season, so yeah, cars should be fast, and excited to get there, and then excited to go to the other racetracks. Fontana, never raced there. That's my home track in California, so really excited to be there.
Note 300 miles is the exact distance there, or for those wondering, for the 5 p.m. start, Saturday, February 19th. Who do you want to give a shout out to? Anyone you want to mention before we let you go?
Yeah, I mean, everyone that's on my Xfinity car this year, Wheelan, Trent Showing, Chevrolet, everyone at RCR. I got the Chevy truck here. I think Luke Knupp or something like that painted it for me a couple years ago. So, yeah, man, just having fun on a Thursday night.
Thank you very much for your time, Sheldon.
Thank you.
Hi, Sheldon.
Hey, Dave.
Good to see you, buddy, or at least having you on here, man. Miss you, bud, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a while. I tried to make it to a couple of races last year to go watch Jarrett and them, but yeah, hopefully find some more time. Maybe go watch Crandon or something this year if I get.
I gotta say, fall Crandon, put it on your list, buddy.
I'd try, and I think we race Saturday. But I heard Robbie talking about something doing stadium trucks at Crandon this year, so
yep.
I might try to fly in Saturday night after our race and go run maybe Sunday or something.
Heck yeah. Well, good job tonight, and can't wait to see more from you. It's a pleasure watching you grow up.
All right, thanks, Dave.
All right, bud.
Once again, Sheldon Creed, running in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this season and has raced in this type of discipline since his teenage years. A lot of experience behind the wheel, to say the very least, but a very intriguing finish here. Go ahead, Dave.
Talk about his single digits. He actually he was his single digits on a trophy cart.
Yes, indeed. But Bark River is next, and we return back to that circuit. The last time out, fairly intriguing, a lot of intense battles, big sends to be able to decide things after the competition caution, depending on what things can go for this time around, February 17th.
Well, looking back forward to going to Park River for sure, always an exciting place. And what a change going from the fast altitude and, of Reno to Park River, Michigan. I'm excited for us to make the trip.
Going to be a fun one to say the very least on how it all plays out in turn, especially since the first half of the season. It's had its intriguing moments. It's had its dominating performances. Connor Berry definitely dialed in to the second half of the campaign, but a little bit of a chink in the armor showed a little bit here tonight. And keep in mind, Felix Roy continues to keep up what is essentially a second place streak that's been about 3 rounds or so. Championship's not even done to being decided quite yet, to say the very least, even with the strong start from Barry, with how things fared out the past couple weeks.
Well, one of the things in racing they've always talked about is consistency, and that's what wins championships. I mean, Connor not necessarily getting on the podium, still up in the top 5 there for sure, but Felix Roy, if he keeps this going up, he could just not even taking a win and still win a championship. I've seen it done before. In fact, the young man we just talked to, Sheldon Creed, he used to be a little Mr. Consistency. Not always getting on that top spot, but always a podium or one step off. And that's how you're going to get it done. And these drivers, they're all going to be fighting it as we get to that halfway point. Still a lot of racing to go, Justin, that's for sure.
A lot of racing to go and a lot of adventures to go on in turn. I'd like to thank the series sponsors once again of CBR Performance Products, AIM Sports Data, Super Clean, Dirt Sports World, Signature Propellers, Positive Beverage, and Smith Graphics for all the support they show for this series. Part of the significant prize pool total $4,000 for this season's campaign runs. And we'd also like to give the shout out to those you just seen on the screen moments ago. For Podium Esports, for Ryan Bauer, James Pine, Cisco Scaramuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore over at Podium. For everyone behind the scenes tonight at the iRacing Short Course Series. For Camera Builder in Dougie Beer. Along with Cameron Oberon on social media. And for our producer this evening, who just so happens to be Ryan. And for my colleague in the booth, in Dave Arnold, my name is Justin Prince. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's action. We'll see you next time out at Park River. Good night.